So I'm going to be a little controversial here. And the reason it's controversial is because there's that stigma right online of how far can you talk about a game before it comes out. And I am in agreement that it only goes so far. You can't fully judge a game. Games can easily surprise you. Games can look really good and then be really bad, or games can look really bad and then be good. It's happened. It's actually happened multiple times this year, last year. It does happen. Sometimes, though, people get it right. Sometimes you can just see something in a trailer and say, you know, something about that kind of seems off to me. And Tales from the Borderlands, or sorry, new Tales from the Borderlands, gives me that vibe. I'm going to come across just flat out honest. If you have something to say, you let me know in the comments. I'll respect your opinion as long as you respect mine. I had just gotten done. I knew this was going to happen. This was leaked a few days ago. So what I did is I replayed Tales from the Borderlands, one of my favorite games of all time. I'm going to have an essay video out on it in a few days, maybe a week or so. It's incredible. I recorded myself playing it. It's going to be good. That game is phenomenal. That game has a spirit and an energy and a core to it that's very hard to replicate, or even make a sequel to it. All right. Now, the fact that it's Gearbox instead of Telltale immediately is a warning sign, I think. Now, Randy Pitchford tried to do his best to, calm people down by saying that some of the team that's working on this new one is from that. They either hired some former Telltale people. I guess I'll wait to see the full product then, because it doesn't look like it at all from the game. It's got the same vibe in the opening. The visuals obviously is the same thing, right? The narrator is the same one. Love it. Reese is in it for about half a second. Love it. Besides that, though, I feel like this is a hollow, empty shell of what Tales from the Borderlands was. Now, I hate to keep picking on this game because it's kind of like the punching bag right now, and I know not everyone doesn't like it, and I want to be, I'm aware of that. Saints Row. Saints Row is kind of, in my opinion, what it's come off across is this kind of empty, modern day, retooling of this beloved, open world thing, and less edgy, less trying to push like the boundaries and more trying to play it safe, but for like a new audience, but trying to keep the, these kind of things. But how Saints Row has always looked in the trailers and all the preview stuff has always looked very shallow, very not there. And then the game is out, and I would say most people don't like it, right? So again, like, controversial. Is it? Because it really seems like the people that spotted it early were actually right. Again, it only goes so far. However, I'm willing to say that people are going to call new Tales from the Borderlands for what it is. The trailer is not doing well. It's got more dislikes than likes on the PlayStation YouTube channel. At least I'm sure the other ones are, dislike bomb. See, I don't want to call it dislike bomb because I really don't think it is that. I think when I watched that trailer, I watched it live with Gamescom opening night live, and I was not impressed at all. The writing is horrendous. The voice acting is awful. The characters are not interesting, not anything that I really feel a connection for. This was something going into this that I was worried about. I tweeted this stuff. I mentioned it in passing, like in videos. Tales from the Borderlands is such a good game. It's such a special game. And making a sequel, well, number one, when you make a sequel, the first thing you should do is have the cast return. That's what you should do. I get it. It's called New Tales from the Borderlands. It's another spinoff. It's another vault hunting, action adventure. It's another story. You can do that. I get it. I do. But in terms of, I think, what they're trying to do, it comes across to me like this. Okay, here's what it comes across to me like. Tales from the Borderlands is incredible. It's like a relic of Telltale. It was at the peak of Telltale. It's an incredible game. It's still incredible to this day. It's probably one of the best games I played this year, even though it came out 8 years ago. All right? Gearbox looks at it and says, well, Telltale, they went bankrupt and they kind of came back from the dead. They're doing Wolf Among Us 2. They're helping with The Expanse, all this stuff. It's like, well, they're busy. They can't do it. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to use the name, and we're going to use the visual style. And I don't think it's episodic because it all comes out one day. So maybe it'll have episodes in the game, but it won't be literally, it comes out like bi-weekly, right? It'll all be as one package. I just feel like they're using the name. I mean, to make it shorter instead of just blabbering on like a moron. That's really what it seems like they're doing. They're using the name Tales from the Borderlands. They know how special that is to people, and they probably do know what at the core of what that, like, why it's so special, and then they're going to strip it of its core. They're going to strip it and then make a new one. And again, like, am I going to give it a try? Sure. Like, I really will. I mean, the release date is it's a tough one because coming out at the end of October, when A Plague Tale comes out, which that game looks unreal. It looks so good. Gotham Knights, Scorn, there's a lot of games that come out at the end of October. Going into November, Skull and Bones, Sonic, God of War, Pokemon, Bayonetta 3 is in October, Mario Rabbids. I could keep going. There's a lot. That's a lot for games that I'm actually interested in, and I feel somewhat like I'll give them that they're trying and that I feel like could be rather good games. You know what I mean? For new Tales from the Borderlands to be a game that I'm so shaky on, and then to come out like either the same day as Gotham Knights or a couple days after A Plague Tale, like you really got to stand out if you're going to release up against like 7 other games, which is not necessarily any of these games' fault. It's just how it is. But you got to stand out. And standing out does not mean the writing is awful and the voice acting is bad. That's not standing out. Again, is it out of context? Can a trailer make something look bad and the game actually surprises? Yes. Guardians of the Galaxy last year did not look all that great, specifically in gameplay. Game came out, it's a game of the year. It was my game of the year. It was tied for my game of the year. And I really wasn't expecting much. So yes, it can happen. But I just feel like Gearbox has not shown to be very consistent with writing for years. Right? Just pitching somebody on the idea, right? Forget the trailer. Forget what we just saw. Forget the trailer. If I pitched you on Tales from the Borderlands and you're a fan, and I said, okay, they're making a new one, like a second, and then you say, oh, a sequel? No, a new one. Oh, does it have any of the returning cast? Any of that cast? No. Is it made from the same people? No. It's actually Gearbox, who has been kind of notorious over the last 5-6 years for the writing being just all over the place and not consistent. How do you feel about the game? Like, what are you supposed to say to that? Then show them the trailer. Show them the visuals where it's like, all right, it's fine, it's the same thing, which is fine. I know it maybe comes across more mean. Show them the trailer and then see what they say. What else are you supposed to think? I don't know. I don't want it to come across, and hopefully for the people that are around for a long time, you would know, like, this is just me being honest. I'm taking it for what it's worth. I'm trying to be aware of all the sides. This is me. This is who Alex is as a human being. But I am being, I think, a little bit more, forceful and more, like, blunt than I normally am. So maybe that catches people off guard. But I think that just happens when you're so in love with a franchise. Maybe this is what it feels like, right? To have, like, a franchise you care about, and then it's like maybe there's a chance you can do it well with a new game or a sequel, and they just kill it. They just do a terrible job. Now, I mean, I've had it happen with other franchises before, like Star Wars, for example, but not to get too controversial. You know what I mean, though? Maybe it's like that, where it's like I didn't really trust them in the first place. I didn't really think it was a good idea. I feel like it's almost kind of past its, like, yes, I would like a Tales from the Borderlands 2 starring Reese and Fiona and Sasha and Loaderbot and all of them. But it's like it's been 8 years since it started, 7 years since it finished. Telltale is different now. I don't even know if it would work. I don't even know if you told me Telltale is making a second game with the returning cast. I don't even know if I'd be all the way in for that, right? Because you could mess it up. You could ruin these characters. Arguably, Reese has already been ruined because of Borderlands 3. And you're going to do it again now? Like, you know what I mean? It's tough. So that's my thoughts. I feel like I'm kind of backed up on the internet because it's not getting well received. So I kind of feel like, all right, I feel like I can put this out there and people aren't going to kill me, but it is the way of the internet. So if that happens, whatever. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on so you know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow or support me, all my social media links are in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.